I'm gonna wreck it! So Wreck-It Ralph was actually one of my favourite new era Disney animation films, along with Big Hero 6 and one or two others. So, can a sequel to a film of this caliber with that much love behind it really live up to its potential? Let's get into it. So Ralph Breaks the Internet, or Wreck-It Ralph 2 as it will probably be referred to, but essentially it's Ralph Breaks the Internet. So 6 years have passed from the first Wreck-It Ralph film, and Ralph and Vanellope are hanging out all the time, being friends, being buddies, doing the same stuff that they love every single day. That is until one day Vanellope's game Sugar Rush gets broken, and the only way to fix it is to go to the internet to get another part from eBay. And then hilarity and hijinks ensues after that. The trouble is, after this point, the plot kind of jumps about and kind of loses focus a little bit. It doesn't really know what it wants to be most of the time, because as soon as they move on from one point in the plot to another point, the plot kind of changes direction, and what the characters want and are going for and trying to do keeps kind of chopping and changing about a little bit. So it's like if you were to miss part of this film, you would come back and have completely lost what was in the process of happening, because it's probably changed. Now this is good because in one way it kind of means that the plot keeps going, it doesn't really lose its momentum. If it gets stale in one particular aspect, it changes and it becomes something else, so you are constantly interested in what is happening in the film because characters' aims and ambitions and wants and needs change at certain points. But this is also bad because it kind of feels like the plot keeps losing focus at some points, and it almost feels like what you had at the start is not the same film that you had at the end, and somewhere along the lines it completely changed into something different. I definitely feel like Wreck-It Ralph 2 kind of didn't have that nostalgic charm that really brought me into the first one, as the first one relied on video game culture from way back in the day, made a lot of references to things that I enjoyed as a kid, and yeah, that might have gone over some younger audience members' heads at that point. And the thing about Ralph Breaks the Internet is that it does rely on internet culture and meme culture and everything like that, that obviously plays into the hands of a much younger audience that have grown up with that, and is still relevant. That being said, there are a lot of really funny observations that are made during the film that are accurate visualizations of how the inner workings of the internet would probably function if that was indeed the way that it went. Like the visualization of pop-up ads being these really annoying people on the street trying to get your attention. I feel like that was so funny, and it's just like, yeah, I can imagine that if that was how the internet was functioning as a real city and somewhere that you could actually go into, that is how things would function. And as a whole, Wreck-It Ralph 2 did actually build towards something quite profound at the end that would actually speak a lot to adults as well as children. And there were some very good points that were made during the film, not just about the internet, but about how people view and use the internet and what it can be for, and also about the character's motivation during the film as well. There was actually a lot of profundity kind of towards the end of the film that everything was kind of building towards, and at that point you kind of go, oh okay, I kind of see what they did here. And that kind of overall arcing message that was left at the end of the film is something that kind of regained a little bit of the magic from the first film and brought it into this one, just enough for you to kind of go, okay, I can see why this film got made now. So with that in mind, Wreck-It Ralph 2, aka Ralph Breaks the Internet, gets 3.5 stars from me. It's a very funny film if you just kind of take it at face value. Sure, it doesn't have the charm that brought me into the first film, but it was still very entertaining, had some great visuals, some great animation, and some cool messages kind of towards the end. And yeah, I did actually enjoy watching this far more than I thought I would for a sequel to a film that really really brought me in the first time round. So, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? This is definitely better than the Emoji Movie, obviously, but do you think that this is one of Disney Animation Studios' more higher up films, or is it kind of settling more towards kind of the generic Disney sequel level? All comments are welcome in the comments section below. Let's talk nerdy. As always, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here and you want to see more, you can click right here to subscribe and see some more funky, fresh videos from yours truly. And until that point, always remember, this dress was not built for a big boy.